Here we go. I'm doing another short podcast because I keep getting notifications on Facebook that I should register to vote, and I should get ready to start voting and picking out who's going to be the person who I vote for. Well, honestly, to tell you the truth, I go by proven track records. I go by people who speak the truth, who's able to do the job that they are pursuing. People that have proven track records, people that have been in business, and people that know how to run a business, and people that know how to run an economy, and know how to deal with trade, and know how to talk to people, and know how to push things rather than people that promote hatred, inequality, discrimination, and people that don't know how to run businesses, and people that don't know how to run an economy. I'm not saying the Republicans are like that. I'm not saying the Democrats are like that. But this is what people don't get, and this is what pisses me off the most. When you go and vote for somebody, people only vote on what their official or their politician is telling them at the time. They don't go back and look at the history, or they don't go and look at what they're doing in life. Like, let's say California, it's terrible at the moment. And California is so terrible right now with the amount of drugs, the amount of people that are homeless, and the amount of people that don't have work, and the amount of people that don't have jobs, and the amount of jobs just not being there. Not saying that California doesn't have a high agricultural growth and a lot of trade and a lot of money going in and out. It's just the officials in California that are running California, and also fucking Washington, and it's just not going good. I'm not saying the minimum wage is bad. The minimum wage is great. When I got into the jobs, or when I got into work and started working when I was 14, the minimum wage I started out with was $8.67, and then I started working when I was 16. I was able to get a part-time job, and it rose a little bit more, and then finally I turned about 18, 19. The minimum wage was $9.67. For fuck's sake, it was bullshit. It was crap. It was shitty. Like, by then, like, our wages should have been higher, but whatever. Again, gas prices and food prices were pretty cheap at the same time too, so having the minimum wage at that price, or at that wage, also kept food prices and gas prices down. So, with all that being said, for the last few years, the Democrats have been chasing after our current president for impeachment and has failed. Miserably failed. It was the most crappiest moment in history that everybody thought that Trump was going to get impeached, but in fact, Trump was actually supporting America and trying to improve our economy. There was a previous administration, Obama, who actually gave billions of dollars to Iran when we don't support Iran. There was a time back in the late 60s or early 70s that Bernie Sanders actually supported Iran when they took, I think it was like 44 or 52 hostages, American hostages, and Bernie Sanders supported that shit. Now, if we want that type of guy as our president, then there is something wrong with our Democrats at the moment. I'm not saying there's a problem with our democracy, there's a problem with our candidates. And we need people who are more educated, more people that have experience with business, rather than people who just know how to hold a sign saying, yeah, more rights, more wages increases, let's put all these homeless people in camps or in tiny houses, let's build them all, let's give out free safe zones where these homeless people can shoot themselves up with drugs and shit. That happened in Seattle, Washington, hate to say, in their little safe areas. They actually had nurses and fucking little vans or whatever that would come out and make sure the people that were doing drugs wouldn't hurt themselves. See, the problem with that it actually enables people. But I think they started to realize that instead of enabling these addicts, that we should start cracking down on the homeless, start cracking down on the addicts. But it's not enough. It's not how it should be. The amount of time that the Democrats spent trying to impeach the president for doing something that supports America, for fuck's sake. Everything that we should buy should be made in America. It should be fucking made by Americans. But that's not how it all goes. And having free trade and open borders and all that stuff, it creates more of a problem to where we're buying product that we don't know what's in it. Even though every product that we buy is supposed to be labeled with the exact ingredients or in the exact ingredients of what's in it, it should be listed. A lot of times there could be more ingredients in there and it could cause problems like the Juuls or like the vapes and the vape juices. There was a problem when those were coming out as a thing back in 2009. A lot of that shit was coming from China, and finally when the crackdown actually happened on them, it happened in the Trump administration. It didn't happen before, but we wouldn't know what's in these juices. All it said it could have been propylene glycol or vegetable glycine and other natural preservatives and artificial preservatives, but not made in America, made in China. So when a lot of those kids or people that were trying the vapes for the first time, they could have been allergic to any of that shit that was in the juices, and they ended up having medical problems. And now there's companies suffering because they're paying for all these medical problems. Well, that's good for them, because now they learned a lesson. You should buy American-made products. That way you know for sure what you're selling to the people that you're selling to. And so that's the problem with open borders and open trade. And having taxes on trade, it helps prevent shit like that from happening. Now, going back to the whole impeachment thing, for the whole amount of time that Trump has been in office, since 2016, the Democrats have been trying to impeach Trump. All that time they could have spent, instead of impeaching Trump, they could have used that time to fix up California, fix up Washington, because the amount of druggies and the homeless people that are on the streets, they're not getting the help they needed. They're not getting the help they need to get off the streets. And a lot of times, these people just need a helping hand. Maybe they just need to go back to work. Maybe they just need a place to stay for the night. Maybe they just need to do this and do that. But no, we're sitting here focused on impeaching a president when these people need help. So, again, when you're going to vote for somebody in office coming up, make sure to look at the track record. Look at the state that you're living in. Is your state winning, or is your state failing? Thank you for listening. Have a great night.